Hey guys, it's Adam here, your Northern Tech, and today I'm bringing you guys a review of what you ask? The Hana Modz, and it's not the authentic, it's a clone, people. The Hana Modz DNA20 clone from Fasttech. Let's dive into this, but first let's roll that intro. Alrighty guys, a little while back, Fasttech had these on. I had some credit over there, some store credit, so I decided to order two of them. I got one in red and one in blue. Yup, one in blue. It's still in the box. The red one I kept for myself to do a review on and to really let people know about these clones. It's not an authentic DNA30 or 20 in there. It's a clone DNA20. The reason why I got the two was, well, I had enough money for two. I got one for myself and one to give away, and I already got somebody who's going to be getting this. Mr. Crazy British Bloke on the YouTube TV. His link will be in the description, but he's getting himself a blue Hana Modz. Hana Modz if you want, Chinese clone. All in all, as far as the way it looks bang on to a Hana. He even has the stupid logo onto it, which I really wish it didn't, but it does. Even has a serial number there of 107. If anybody else has a Hana Modz DNA20 107 out there, guess what? I found your clone. Just saying. Your buttons on the side, your fire buttons, and of course the screen is right there on the face. Let me just have a quick toke. Oh, so good with the K-Fun. But let's dive into this and I'll show you guys basically what I'm talking about. Alright people, here we have the Hana Modz clone. So right on the face you have your viewing screen, the Hana Modz logo, your serial number, and your charging port. On this side here, there is nothing going on. On the back, there's two screws, which we'll remove, and I'll show you the inside wiring on this thing. It's pretty disgusting. Over here, you have your up and down button for your voltage select, and your fire button to take a toot. And when you fire this thing for the first time when it's been powered off, it says Evolve DNA. But this chip was not made by Evolve, and the reason why I say that is I have two authentic DNA30s, and with the DNA30s, you can pull that trigger with the screen black, and it'll come up and say whatever, Proto Vapor or Evolve DNA30, and the moment you pull that trigger, even with a black screen, that atomizer is firing. On this one here, when the screen is out and you pull the trigger, it says Evolve DNA, and then until it brings up this screen here that you see, that's the only time she'll actually fire. And as you can see, it's doing 5.1 on that K-Fun. So if you don't vape for a while and you let this thing sit down and it powers off, your instinct is to pick it up and start vaping on it. So you take it up to your mouth, you pull the trigger, you start sucking on it, and you're not getting any vapor. Why? Because you got to wait for it to finish its boot sequence. With the authentics, you don't have to do that. So this is obviously a Chinese replica. However, how much are these devices? That's the big question. Now Fasttech is selling these things here with a battery. They come with an eFest 10 amp 2000 milliamp battery for $52. Not really that bad of a price for a 20 watt mod. For an extra $4 you can get the DNA30, but I heard there's a lot of problems with the DNA30s from Fasttech, and apparently the chips are lasting like 3 weeks to a month and then they're just grenading. So you got to be careful with that too. And I wanted 20 watts. I never vaped above 20 watts. I figured this would be good enough. And I wouldn't need to run like a Sony VTC5 or an eFest 35 milliamp or 35 amp purple or an MNKE 30 amp battery. I'd get away with running just anything that can do at least 6 amps. Because this device will only go down to 1 ohm stable. 3 ohms to 1 ohm. That's all this thing will do. It will not sub-ohm at all, which is fine by me. Now let's go ahead and we'll go back to the table and we'll take that back panel off and I'll show you what the inside wiring looks like. Let's do this. Alright, I gotta apologize for my table being in the array that it's in. It's pretty messy, but here it is, the DNA20 Hana Modz clone. Just gonna go ahead and get... Holy fuck, these screws are really cinched on, or the screwdriver really sucks dick. Where's my good screwdriver? Freak's sakes. Jesus. I just changed the battery out on this too because I wanted to try something. I took the 2000 milliamp battery out because it was garbage, and I threw one of my purple 3100 milliamp 20 amp batteries in. Obviously the amp draw is never going to be hit, but and I can get a pretty good decent day out of that. And then I was like, well, I got these 3400 Panasonics maybe I'll chuck one of them in there and see how well that fires. So I went ahead and put one of the Panasonics into it, and so far it lasts a lot longer with that extra 300 milliamps. But anyway, once you take your screws off, you take off the back panel. I should take off my atomizer too for safety reasons, but look in there. This is the wiring job they did. There's nothing covering your circuitry, nothing covering the Evolve chip. By Evolve, I mean China. You know, the wires are nicely color coded, buttons are relocated and mounted on. That there, right there, that is a fire button. You can actually fire this device by clicking that, but we don't need to do that because we have a fire button right there. But just for future reference, people, you should always remove your atomizer when you're taking the back panel off. Now, unlike the authentic Evolve DNA20 and 30s, this one here does not support reverse battery protection. What I mean by that is, if I take this positive end and load her in down here, this chip is gonna pop like a zit, and this device will be garbage. Gotta make sure you're putting positive right and negative right. You're putting this battery in proper polarity, or otherwise you're gonna have a $52 hunk of metal on your hands that won't do shit except for hold paper down. That's a lot to spend for a fucking paper ring, let me tell you. So there you go, little inside workings of the Hana DNA20, and we'll take her back up to the top once I get the screws back in, and I'll tell you what I think of this device. Alrighty, let's talk pros and cons of this Chinese DNA20 powered Hana Modz clone wannabe. Pros: the aluminum construction of the case feels really good, really sturdy. Like the way it feels in your hand when you grip it. Really good feel. Buttons located perfectly. And at first, when I saw that little pimple of a button, I thought, you know, I'm not going to be able to. That's going to drive me nuts pressing that. But you know what? It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. One of the cons I found with this is it doesn't read the right resistance of your atomizer, and allow me to demonstrate that right now. So to demonstrate this, we're going to use the old Nintendo controller with the DNA30. So right now on this mod, the device's report in the coil is, can we see that? 2.6 ohms. 2.6 ohm coil. Okay, that's on the Hana. Take this atomizer off of the Hana, grab the old NES controller, crank her on there, and we fire it up. We just bring our wattage back down to 11 so we don't blow our faces off of this. And the actual coil, according to this, is 2.3 ohms. So this is reporting 0.3 off all the time. God, this Nintendo controller just does a great job of sending out the vapor. Great job. But today we're talking about this. So that's one flaw, is that the resistance is way off. Now this thing will not fire below an ohm. However, if you built a 0.7 ohm coil, you shoved it on this device, it'll probably see it as a 1 ohm coil and fire it, which is pretty dickard. Theoretically, it's seeing more resistance. Therefore, at 10 watts on here, it's putting 5.1 to the coil. 10 watts on the Nintendo controller at 2.3 ohms, it was putting 4.7. So I'm getting an extra 0.4 volts going to the coil just because of the discrepancy, which not a big deal. Just realize that it's overtuned and bring it down some, and you'll be fine. Now I've been using this pretty much solid for the past 2 weeks. Haven't had any problems with it. It charges every time I plug it into my computer or into any USB port. It's a bitch and a half if you want to replace the battery. I'm going to be honest, they didn't hot glue the battery compartment in. So when you take it apart and you go to take the battery out, the compartment tries to run away, so you're like holding down the compartment while prying up the battery. Pain in the ass, but all in all, for $52, this thing is the cat's meow right now, because an authentic Hana Modz is probably around 200 bucks. And seeing how 2 of the authentics I bought I had problems with, this being one authentic, the Nintendo, I had the problem with the top thing, and the Proto Vapor, which is like the most expensive one that I bought, and it is right fucking frazzled, and I'm not impressed with that. This is why I like clones, people. $52 fucking right here. You know, it works just as good as the authentics, and it doesn't break the bank. And if something goes wrong in it, I'm not too nervous to jump in there and fix it. Where with a $300 e-dart, I'm tempted to send it back to Proto Vapor and have them repair it, because there's some major problems with it. Charging port being one, and the battery they sent me was pooched from day one, so garbage. But anyway, people, that concludes my review of the DNA20 Hana, as it's been called, the Chinese Hana Mod. Hopefully you enjoyed my review. Any questions, comments, concerns about this thing, leave them in the comment section below. Some of you are probably asking, well, is the one that you're giving the Blokes, does it have the same serial number? No. Blokes has a serial number of 921 onto it. Look at that beautiful blue. That is a beautiful blue. Really like that, so you'll really enjoy that one too. So thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends if you like. If they're into vaping, maybe they'll get a kick out of it. And until next time, guys, take care.